Here we are, and it is another Tuesday in a week where things have not gone to plan necessarily. Monday, I ended up sleeping in a lot later than I had wanted to, which probably just means that my body needed the rest. So tried to do as much as I could yesterday, but honestly that wasn't much. So took a little bit of a mental health day, we'll say, and now I am doing all of my readings that I was supposed to do over the weekend but didn't because, Saturday I hung out with my friend for Valentine's Day and Sunday was Valentine's Day, and so I don't know, actually got some time to be a human, and so we're gonna be forgiving of that, and now we're just gonna catch up and it's all going to be fine. So originally my plan was to have done all of my school things over the weekend so that then my entire week, weekdays, could be dedicated to my MCAT stuff. So this week for MCAT stuff, we're focusing on general chemistry, and hopefully we'll get to some biochem. That's the goal. Even if it's just a little bit of biochem and I don't finish it, that'll still be good. It'll still put me closer to on track. But for right now, I'm a little stressed out because I was supposed to have this paper done for my race, gender, and sexuality class, and I had really wanted to do it over the weekend so that then I could schedule an office hours with one of my teachers before it was actually due, so that I could just, discuss what I had written and make sure that I was on the right track, make sure that I was interpreting the prompt correctly. And now that paper is due in 24 hours and I don't really think that I'm going to have the time to schedule a meeting with one of my professors, because that's kind of rude to try to schedule a meeting that last minute. So we're going to see how that goes. I also have my foundations class tonight. We're talking about Rawlsian justice and things like that. So I still have to do my readings for that class as well. And I'm generally just a little bit behind of my own personally ascribed schedule, but I'm not behind schedule in any real way, if that makes sense. So we're gonna try to finish these readings. I'm almost done with my race, gender, and sexuality class this week. We are talking about racism and in bioethics and in medicine in general. And so I'm almost done with those readings. I'm on literally the very last reading, and then I have a TED Talk to watch, which is fun. And that's what we're doing this Tuesday. I'm gonna try to finish all those readings, and then I have my class. Maybe we'll fit in a cars thing for MCAT, we'll see.
15 years ago, I volunteered to participate in a research study.
In a world of limited resources, we have to be thoughtful about priority setting, right? So priority setting and rationing are not abominations from the point of view of justice, but in fact, doing them well is a requirement of justice.
Happy Wednesday. So I was up very late last night finishing this assignment that was due today at noon, and then I was also updating my resume because I'm going to a career fair on Friday. So up kind of late doing all that, and so I've gotten a little bit of a late start to the day. I'm gonna make some tea and get started doing actual work things for my internship. So that's the main focus for today. So now what feels like forever later feel like I need one of those like SpongeBob cards of like 17 hours later. Hold on. Let's do it. Let's try again.
One eternity later.
I'm officially done with the captioning of this video that I needed to get done captioning today, because I basically typically have like a 2-week turnaround time for them, and today was the 2-week mark. So I need to get it done today. And now, since it is a newsletter week, we're sending out our bi-weekly newsletter. I also have to now like basically get that draft set up, which you know, is basically the newsletter turnaround is always like a pretty quick thing, so I do always have to do that like pretty immediately, and it was just on me that I had a bunch of other things going on and didn't have the time to do this captioning yet. But we have 2 new videos up, and so I'm hoping to get a little bit more ahead on them this weekend so that I don't end up in the same situation 2 weeks from now, basically, on these new videos. So, and then it's also exciting because for the 2 new videos, I get to make pretty thumbnails for them. So that has also become a part of my responsibilities for my internship, which I find that kind of thing fun. So basically today is just almost solely an internship day. And since I ended up sleeping in a little bit later today, I'm gonna see if like maybe end up staying up and doing other things. Like maybe I emailed off my resume to get feedback on it, so I might, after I finish the newsletter stuff, might go back and make those kinds of edits and stuff to get ready for the career fair on Friday. So it is now Thursday evening, and I am sitting on the floor of my closet because I have a virtual career fair tomorrow and I need to pick out something to wear. But I wanted to pause and update you all. And so, as you saw, I had my race, gender, and sexuality class this morning, and we were learning and talking about race and racism. And then I did some MCAT, Gen Chem notes and studying type thing. And now here we are. So I was up quite late last night catching up on internship work that I had to do, and because I was a little bit behind on that, which actually brings me to what I wanted to talk about. So basically I started out this video and this week being like, oh, this is going to be like a catch-up week, and I'm going to, you know, do so great, and I'm going to be so productive, and I'm going to catch up on all of the things that I didn't get done last week, because last week was just not having it. So my mental health did not show up to be productive last week. And so this week was supposed to be like the get back on track week, and it hasn't been. And so I try to always be real with like documenting my experience in grad school, and I have rarely but occasionally gotten in a little bit of like trouble for that. There was one time years ago when I was in the process of applying for jobs, and a potential employer had found my channel and was like, oh, like, I see that you're always running late to class and like blah 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 and all these things. So I obviously like professionally, you know, talked through that situation, and it turned out being fine, but that's not real. Like that expectation that everyone is perfect and no one runs late to anything and no one runs behind on anything and everyone just gets everything done that they're supposed to get done when they're supposed to get it done all of the time, that's not real life, and that's not anyone's real life. And it's certainly not mine. So I make these particular types of videos to hopefully make you all feel like you are not alone on the weeks where you're behind or you find yourself sitting on social media for 2 hours and you beat yourself up about, I don't have time to do this, I don't have this space to do this because I have all of these other things that need to get done. And because I know I do that. So that was a big long way of basically just saying that I was really behind on schoolwork and things last week, and I have not entirely caught up on those things, but practical things to do when you find yourself in this situation that I try to do is I basically just triage things in my head and what needs to get done first. So I have a career fair tomorrow. I have to finish up if I'm going to go to that, then in order to go to that, I should. I don't have to, I don't need to, I'm not going to die, but I should finish updating my resume, get it uploaded, and pick out what I'm gonna wear for tomorrow. Those are the things that I can do to prepare for the most imminent thing. And so if I get more things done, if I get more general chem notes done tonight, then that's great. But if not, I have done what I need to do, and I'll figure the rest out later. So that's my Thursday evening message to you all. So I'll show you all how the career fair goes tomorrow, talk to you guys a little bit about that, but otherwise, good night. So I just finished up at this career fair, and it's interesting the way they set it up in like this digital age, because it was obviously a virtual career fair. And so you could schedule one-on-one meetings with the employers that were there, but then they also had a few employers had webinars that you could log into that like obviously wasn't a one-on-one thing. And so I popped into one webinar that was pretty small, and otherwise I pretty much had a bunch of one-on-one meetings since 11:30 this morning. So I had, let's see, 9 different one-on-one meetings today. Luckily it ended up that I had about like a 40-minute break in there for lunch because I was getting so hungry. But I'm really excited. I am feeling very hopeful, and without trying to jinx anything, that there are a few employers that I was really, really excited about. So we're just gonna keep our fingers crossed, and I'm gonna go through the rest of the application process for some of them. Some of them, this was all they needed, was for you to drop your resume off drop it off virtually at their booth. But then others obviously want you to apply through their website. So I'm gonna have to go through and do that. I think one of them, the deadline is actually today. So I do have to finish that one, like write up a cover letter and everything like that. But then otherwise, this weekend, that's part of what I'm going to be doing. That and a bunch of MCAT Gen Chem preparation. So I didn't get really too much of anything done MCAT wise this week, which really sucks. It really stresses me out, but like that's life, and it is what it is, and I just have to kind of like make the most of it and try to knock it out as best as I can. So that's been the week. Like I said, it's been a pretty rough week, but I am just trying not to put too much pressure on myself, because I think that that's what we do in today's society, and especially like in academia and like the young professional world, is we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. So I made it through this career fair day. I had my little, elevator pitch that I gave at the beginning of them, and had spaced my meetings so that I would have time in between to do a little bit of research on the company before I went and talked to them, because that's always something good to do, and like read up on the roles that they're hiring for and things like that. So it was hopefully fruitful, and I at least made a lot of good connections. So that's a positive for the day. I, however, have now developed a pretty severe headache. So I think that I'm going to try to submit this one job application that's due today, and then take a nap, and then try to do some Gen Chem stuff maybe. So send out thank yous also from this career fair. I'm really just babbling now, so I'm gonna stop, but I thank you all so much for joining me on this week, documenting my weeks for you all and answering your questions, and sort of helping you all see what the experience is like of being a grad student in this day and age is part of what, keeps me going and keeps me accountable. So I thank you all so much for all of your continued support, and be sure to, follow me along on Instagram, and I've been doing bi-weekly posts on there. I've been doing posts on there every week, MCAT updates, as well as an Ethics Thursday topic. So that's been really fun. So if you haven't seen those, definitely go check them out. And I believe that next week is the last week in February. So if you want to see me do like a March bullet journal setup, then let me know. But either way, I will see you all next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a good weekend.